Hello students, today our topic of discussion is COVID-19 and pregnancy. As you demanded last time, and today as we all are knowing that this is a global pandemic threatening the whole human being, the humanity is at risk. This is taking a great toll all over the world. This is the high time we should know about this disease, and we should know what can be the prevention, what can be the treatment, how the pregnant ladies can be taken care of. And since I have to teach you all about medical disorders in pregnancy, I first started with the topic of COVID-19 and pregnancy. As of today, this global pandemic has killed at least 2.4 lakh people all over the world. For our country, almost 40,000 people is infected with this viral disease, and almost 1300 have been killed by this disease. So today the topic of discussion is COVID-19 and pregnancy. We have to start it one by one. I have tried to include all the headings or all the small points to be mentioned or we know till date. But if you have any query, you can ask me. All the questions are invited. So first we have to start with introduction. The name of the virus, novel coronavirus, but the proper nomenclature is SARS-CoV-2. SARS is severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. The name of the disease is COVID-19, that is coronavirus disease 2019. So as for any medical problem or disease, we have to start with prevention. So here also we are starting with the prevention part of the disease in pregnant lady. So all pregnant women should follow the same recommendation as non-pregnant person for avoiding exposure to SARS-CoV-2. Pregnant health workers, especially for pregnant health workers in third trimester, particularly of more than 36 weeks gestation. So any medical or paramedical nursing staff who is pregnant female of more than 36 weeks gestation, they have to stop face-to-face contact with the patients. What can be the different clinical manifestations? So as we all must be knowing that fever is the most common presentation found in up to 67% of cases, dry cough in 66% of cases, dyspnea or breathlessness in 7%, sore throat in 7% cases, fatigue and myalgia, that is body ache, and headache are also very important symptom. And there is a very particular problem of abnormalities or loss of smell and or taste. Now comes the classification of disease severity. So it is again divided in 4 categories. Number 1 is asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, when the patient is not having any symptom, but if COVID-19 test is performed, it is found to be positive. Then comes mild illness. Mild illness means the patient will have fever, cough, sore throat, or any of these or all of these with body ache, myalgia, headache, but the patient will not have the problem of breathlessness or discomforting breathing or dyspnea. Then comes the category of severe illness. Here the respiratory rate is more than 30, the SpO2 is less than 93%, and in chest radiograph or chest X-ray we find more than 50% lung infiltrates. Then comes the final, that is critical illness. Here the patient is either presenting with respiratory failure, septic shock, or multi-organ failure or multi-organ disease. Then comes the course of this disease in pregnancy. Pregnant women who develop COVID-19 pneumonia show approximately same rate of ICU admissions as the non-pregnant population, but of course there is one problem associated with pregnancy, that is increased rate of preterm and cesarean delivery. Then we have to definitely mention about the vertical transmission of disease. So SARS-CoV-2 has not been detected in cord blood or amniotic fluid or placenta, that is it is found to be having no intrauterine transmission. So now we have to mention about approach to diagnosis, how we can diagnose and what is the population subgroup where we have to think about the diagnosis. So possibility of COVID-19 is to be considered in patients with new onset fever and or chills and or respiratory tract symptoms, means cough, breathlessness, or the patient is residing or has history of travel to a location where there is community transfer of or community transmission of SARS-CoV-2, or the woman is having close contact with either confirmed or suspected case in last 14 days. So what is the testing modality? The testing is done for SARS-CoV-2 RNA by RT-PCR. It is done on oropharyngeal swab, nasal swab and nasopharyngeal swab. But nasopharyngeal swab is having, since nasopharyngeal swab is having the most sensitivity, it is preferred, or we try to do nasopharyngeal swabbing only. For area having large population of suspected corona disease, nowadays rapid testing kit is available where we do testing by antibody level. Then comes chest X-ray for initial evaluation of pulmonary complications in most of the hospitalized patients. But as we know that for pregnant ladies this X-ray is difficult, so we do pulmonary ultrasound for quick diagnosis of pneumonia in pregnant women. Now comes antenatal care. That is the most important part during the care of pregnant women. So we have to start with preventing exposure in community. This is done by social distancing, by maintaining social distancing, by cough etiquettes, coughing and sneezing hygiene, and hand hygiene by frequent hand washing with soap and water or alcohol based sanitizer. Patients with potential exposure. Pregnant patients with contact history and or travel history should be isolated. They should self-isolate themselves, and if possible, testing is performed on them. Then routine antenatal care in asymptomatic women. There are modifications in prenatal visits, including what can be the modifications? These are telecommunications by video calling or by Skype, whatever way. The pregnant ladies should have access to BP machine in their home only. We have to minimize the number of tests. Means we have to do single oral GTT test with 75 grams glucose only, in spite of 50 grams GCT and then 100 grams of glucose GTT. In spite of double marker, quadruple marker, like different serum screenings, we have to do a single cell-free DNA test at more than 10 weeks of gestation. Prenatal visits in person is minimized to 4 at 12, 20, 28 and 36 weeks of gestation only, where scans and labs can be performed simultaneously. All patients and healthcare workers who are involved in this outpatient department should wear at least masks and gloves, and for the partners or for the attenders of female, we have to make available this video communication, like video calling can be done, but no visitors allowed in the consultation room. Then comes medical management of pregnant women with COVID-19. What? Medical management of pregnant women with COVID-19. First of is home care, like if the female is asymptomatic or having mild symptoms only, they don't need hospital level care. They should self quarantine in the home only, and with consultation, video consultation, they can take care of themselves at home. For hospitalized patients, of course, with the illnesses of much gravity, we have to hospitalize the patients, and then hospitalized patients should be cared for by multi-speciality team. How about fetal monitoring? One Bluetooth enabled external fetal monitor is to be used for fetal heart rate tracing. Like the simple Doppler we do for fetal monitoring, we have to connect it with Bluetooth external device. Then as these ladies are having risk of preterm labor, we have to monitor and manage the preterm if any signs of preterm labor is present. Then maternal oxygenation level. Among critically ill patients, respiratory failure leading to ARDS is dominant finding. So general supportive care as for normal population, that is the same. General supportive care is the same. But in ICU, usually these patients are treated in prone position. But of course, for pregnant ladies in advanced gestation, even semi-prone position is difficult. Though it is difficult, it is recommended. Then use at type of venous thromboembolism prophylaxis. There is increased risk of venous thromboembolism, but here the choice of drug is for VTE prophylaxis is unfractionated heparin in spite of low molecular weight heparin, because it is more readily reversed. So if we can use low molecular weight heparin for postpartum patients or for antepartum patients where the labor is not expected in next 1 week or so. Then comes safety of antiviral therapy. There is no definite treatment or therapy till date, but HCQS, hydroxychloroquine sulfate, has been seen to have some role, not yet proved 100% efficacy, but still it is used. Then remdesivir, it is an antiviral which is having activity against SARS-CoV-2 in vitro, so it is also considered to be a therapy. Then comes medications for management of complications during pregnancy.